All right, guess who's back? It's the Soul Material Podcast, the podcast you cheer for, the channel you cheer for. And we are back with season 6. New episodes. Let's dive in. All right, I'm T. Martin, the Street Shark.
It's your man, the OGEO. Season 6, T. Martin, Street Shark. Let's get it.
All right, we diving in. So normally we would start off, we're new episodes, new NBA season. So we were talking about kicks on court. We'll give you that a little bit later, but right now it's a frenzy. It's a sneaker free agent frenzy going on. All right, and we got one big fish, in particular that is, talking about fish. We got a shark in the water. So, all right, and none other than the chef, Steph Curry, has announced the separation with Under Armour. So we're here to give you that clarity over popularity, give you those, just attention to detail, pull back those layers like the Soul Material Podcast loves to do. And we're going to, do a deep dive on the legal side, on the footwear side, on the culture side, all of the above. All right. So, OG, kick us off with your take, reactions, what's going on in your head when it comes to Steph Curry becoming the new sneaker free agent in the NBA.
As they say, Tony, it's just funny to me because I'm just seeing deja vu all over again. But again, it was a great time to be alive during those times. We're going to unpack that later. Talking about a time where Kobe was a free agent. This is not something that we have not seen before. I think what's legendary, and you can add this now to a very epic Hall of Fame resume that Steph Curry already has. For him to be at his age and still performing where he's still performing, what him and also LeBron continue to do, we've never seen this before in the history of basketball. And outside of someone like a Skip Bayless, we rarely see or have seen someone in their profession basically get more money as they've gotten older in sports or in sports management or in sports entertainment or in sports journalism. Usually you'll peak at a certain age and certain age you will come down. This man is at a point to where we're talking about a $200 million a year minimum, probably annual contract. And he will be 40 before you know it. And these things really don't happen. And we're not talking about a legacy in which we're just going to retrograde all its past stuff. We're talking about what he's going to do for the future. Not only for basketball, not only for the community, not only for his Christian values and that part of his spiritual life, but also possibly golf. It is so many avenues that this man is absolutely just a genius in, brilliant in, humble in. The sky's the limit, man. And how they've gone about things has just been awesome. He was a part of Under Armour 2013. We all know things don't last forever. Thought it was a great partnership. Thought he brought a lot to the table, a table that he is and always will be. And I think Under Armour is fortunate to have him on board. And he has a lot of markets on lock. First of all, the kids. Second of all, folks like us who are about performance, who are about technology and new technologies and shoes and so forth. Because we all know now, as far as come to retros, even these things behind me, this nostalgia, man. Ain't nobody balling these anymore, man. I got bad ankles. I got a bad big toe. I need to figure out something that I could ball in that's going to functionally do well for me and perform well. And wherever Curry brand goes next, wherever he takes his brand, we are in epic times, boys. So I'm doing like this, doing the Birdman hand rub, bro, because we have just seen, or he's only just begun his legacy for real. And from a footwear standpoint and apparel standpoint and what his values always have been, will continue to be, this is a great time to see what's going to happen, Tony. I really think that he is going to set the bar and set a foundation for other athletes like him who has the values, who have the dignity, who has the discipline he has on how to move forward. What we're talking about is Stephen A. Smith say the greatest shooter of all time. Talking about one of the greatest people of all time. And unlike other people, like a Michael Jordan, who had the God-given ability, a LeBron James, a Wilt Chamberlain, anyone you mention, Steph has a God-given ability too, but he looks like one of us. You could walk past Steph Curry in the mall. If you didn't know, his light skin behind, you wouldn't even know he's just a regular dude because how he carries himself, how he looks. And that what makes him marketable. That's what makes him likable. And that what makes him enjoyable. And that's what makes him about to be off the court, probably a billionaire once this deal actually is finalized and done wherever he goes. If he decides to do something himself and just build his own brand, it's epic times, man. What's going on social media? Steph Curry is headlining. I'm not sure what the Twitter feeds are saying and so forth, but I know Instagram every day is a Steph Curry story, and everyone. It's not just narratives, and I'm seeing the stuff going out. But again, in closing, so I want to let you talk, T. Mark. I want to talk too long, but us having the information that we have, people we're connected to. I'm just intrigued on the narratives that are out there, and I'm just like, if that was going on, me and the shark would know. And I'm just like, how much of it's made up? Where who's your sources? Who's your people? And it's just a great time now to just see all this make believe out there that's really not even fire at all, not even smoke. It's that bad smoke. We want that smoke where you're coming off the grill and you smell it 10 miles away. But we're getting that too. So in closing, Martin, I'm just happy for him. He deserves it. And just from what we are used to seeing, we may be seeing someone who will literally, no harm, Kanye, jump over the jump man in the next 7 to 8 years easily.
Yeah. Well, so I'm unpacked a couple things. Yeah. And when it comes to Steph, and you mentioned social media and things like that, so I'll start there. You now created the Steph Watch. That's what happened, right? We had a LeBron watch, and it was pretty cool at one point in time. When he was switching up sneaks, and they were inspired by retro models, and then we're always locked in on what he's going to wear next. So to be able to capitalize on moments like that, like Steph, you got everyone's attention until you signed the deal with whatever's happening next. Like everyone's gonna be locked in this whole season on, and now you're wearing different shoes when you're walking in through the tunnel. You're wearing different shoes to warm up in. You wore some Kobe's, I like it because now it's nostalgia for me. You about to do the Hard Knock Life tour. You're about to wear a shoe that's inspired by whoever you're going to play every time you do it. So far, we've seen him break out the Kobe's and the Mamacitas just to show homage the first time. You know what I mean? Then he's going to go down to Orlando. All right. You're going to walk in the tunnel with some Shaq Gnosis Reeboks. You're going to warm up in some Penny Twos that are actually like for you. They didn't come out like that. You know what I'm saying? And then, as we record this podcast, I already saw it earlier today. They're in Miami, playing the Miami Heat. What did he show up in? Wade's, D Wade's shoe, leading. All right. For the tunnel walk, so I'm locked in just to see like Jay-Z wore a different jersey for every city that he was in. I'm like, that's what this is right now. I know the young people don't know that you reference, you know what I'm saying? But like, that's cool. You know what I mean? So social media, you just put them in the sleep. Like it's night. Okay. You got them already. And the season just started and you're balling. You know what I mean? So, and the team got potential and everything like that. So let's go. Just stay healthy, Next is the deal itself. I like that everyone's reacted in a positive way, and they embrace him being with other companies and stuff like that. I was a little afraid that, Steph's character and that all-American boy stuff that you're talking about, I thought that might penalize him a little bit because he would look too loyal. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, no, this is good. You know what I mean? Like this loyal person is still about his business that just says, this isn't mutual anymore. So, the lessons that people learn just from seeing him go through that and then making a decision. Now, at the end of the day, like we talk about, we got friends over at the Curry brand and things like that. So I still can't divulge but so much. But I will say that this has been talked about for quite a while. And it was like the greatest fumble ever, and the more it was referenced, the more I didn't want to believe it, but was believing it, and then it might feel abrupt to everybody else, that you just walk into the season, he did the Curry tour again in China, you know what I'm saying? And then it's all good. And he's coming back. He's on the podcast with LeBron and all this other stuff. And then now it's just like, hold on. Like this was all happening, So legally, Because we talk about the legalities over here. We did a lot of that with the Ja Morant saga. So let's take a legal turn really quick. I like the sneaker legal. Shout out to sneaker legal. I love your page. I love all the other sneaker websites that actually go into the legalities of the business deals, not just shoot off the mouth with opinions and well, what shoe do we want to see him in? No, I don't want to see him in Jordan 4s. I don't want him hurt. I don't want his feet arch falling before the game. I don't want to see that. So when it comes to that part, we got to make sure that I say this, the legal terms. All right. It looks like, can't see all the contractual things, but, the filings for the logos and the naming, right? There was some concern that yeah, he might have to start all over with the branding and everything like that. Well, um, it's almost certain, at least from the sources that I've seen and heard, is that he will get to keep the logo. All right, he will get to keep the SC30 as well, and that will those rights will transfer at the end of this deal. Like contractually, it's already over, but now the rollout of the things that were in the pipeline that goes all the way through fall of 26. So basically to the start of the next season. So we got the Curry 12s. All right, this past year. All right, so go back into our All-Star episodes and things like that. These are the What the Bay Curry 12s. All right, so you're going to get a Curry 13. I think I've already teased a little bit, but I've seen what it looks like. All right. And yes, I was excited. Because if you've been paying attention, they've been changed, some of their designers, have moved on to other companies. So there's just a little trickle that's been going over in the last year and a half, and it's all bubbling back up. So Curry 12s, we will get the Curry 13s in February at the All-Star game. That has always been the plan. But now all the apparel and everything associated with that launch to get through the summer and fall. That stuff is lined up, and then that's the end. That's the end. So get your merch and get your everything, because you'll see the logo somewhere else, but it won't be with Under Armour. You know what I mean? So this has been. So now I'm going to talk about Under Armour. Yeah, you fumbled this. You were too cool for school. You thought you were bigger than what you were. At one point in time, you had the best athletes for your brand and that underdog stuff. You know what I'm saying? When you had Cam Newton at his prime, you had Bryce Harper, you had Steph Curry, you had Jordan Spieth, you had all of them at the same time. All right. But you got cute, which is technology and advancements, and you spent too much money and didn't translate back. You lost your cultural relevance, and then you tried to just do optical things and get into hip hop and lifestyle and just throw stuff on people. And then these weird collaborations with designers, Balenciaga and all this other stuff. Like, you're not Adidas and Gucci. So why are you trying? You wanted to make Under Armour luxury fashion, but the clothes were still based on performance more than the lifestyle. You know where that only existed? In Baltimore, where the hometown. So if you trying to spread Baltimore vibes around the country, around the world, that wasn't gonna work. You got to stay where you at. You can't do DC stuff everywhere either. You know what I'm saying? So
Or
you start
Philly
to
stuff,
recognize.
or New York City stuff, or Cali stuff, or name the hood, or Detroit stuff, or name the hood. Everyone has their particular thing that they do, and it changes every 3 to 4 years. When I was a teenager,
Yes,
1992, I could tell you in DC, rubber bands underneath your jeans was the
cuff
thing.
them,
Period.
roll them
Who
up.
else is doing that? Who else is doing that? So things like that, Martin, I'm with you 1,000% on that, T. Mart. Like, yeah, fumbling the bag. You're being very professional about this, very diplomatic, and thank you for that. But we all know that they messed this up, man.
They
And
messed it up.
really
But
quick,
see, here's what our audience. Let's go to global. Let's go from local to global real quick, right?
hmm
I'm someone who goes on the foreign websites just to see what that's going on. So if you go on Under Armour Japan, if you go on Under Armour Malaysia, like they got different stuff, you know,
Mm.
and they got way more Curry stuff because he's so popular in all these places. You know what I'm
No
saying?
question.
Philippines, you know what I mean? UnderArmour.ph or whatever it is, you know, like yeah, I switched my stuff so I can see. I'm just interested. I love analyzing trends and things like that. But then sometimes I'll be jealous because you know, and then I might call somebody over at Curry and be like, yo, why is this all over here? But I want this here. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I get this? You know what I'm saying? So, and then I listen to the distribution strategies and what's going on. Like, yeah, because it's going to sell over there. You know, some of the stuff is sprinkled around here, but no one really goes to the Under Armour stores, you know? So, not for, and if you don't tell them they have it, then they ain't going. So little stuff like that, you know, when it comes to, they know how to sprinkle the global regions, but they don't do that regionally, you know, within the states. You know what I mean? So I feel like the other part of this is you didn't support your superstar in 360, like all the things that he's trying to be involved in. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's one thing to tell stories through his shoes, but that's his Curry brand team coming up with the storylines and stuff. Like, I mean, like Under Armour strategically aligned with his principles. All right. So y'all know you've seen this, OG, in some of the news, but I'm bringing it up. Let's unpack it. Let's take a moment to unpack this part too. Kevin Plank.
Mm.
Who did you vote for?
Mm.
Who were you vocal about who you voted for? Knowing that your moneymaker feels the opposite.
Total opposite.
Why you are contributing to the campaign. You are if you know, hey, ladies and gentlemen, those contributions are public.
They
You
love.
can look them up and you can
Mm.
see how much. All right. And you telling me that you gonna sit across the table from your star athlete? You have that conversation behind the scenes. But because you went so public with it, what did you think? You think that that loyalty was going to erode because you don't really support his everything he got going on in his life, everything his family got going on. If y'all doing the lifetime contract and he's the face of, he saved Under Armour basketball. You don't even have basketball without him. You did okay with Brandon Jennings, but then it fell off. You didn't grow it.
So
And
they
the
fumbled
only
there too. They fumbled there
yeah,
too.
and Nike fumbled theirs and then landed in your lap. You know what I'm saying? So like maybe if Nike was better in the beginning, you still didn't exist. You know what I mean? So and Kit Bazemore didn't do what he did. You know what I'm saying? To you know, play the inside mole and put them in front of the gear. You know what I mean? So yeah, just those little angles. And you know, it just makes sense, the rumblings of the things that go on and the disconnects between Curry and Under Armour and how Under Armour staff step on their toes. And at the end of the day, they want to see, I'm saying too much, but it is what it is. I witnessed some of it, so I'm only going to talk about what I witnessed. That they cannibalized themselves. You know, the snake ate his own tail. You know what I'm saying? And it was all because people, you know, you got the egos, you got the, I want to have credit. No, Steph did it himself. He did it. He performed. We already told you, you got to have the moments. So whatever you did in the office that you're taking credit for, there's only a handful of people that are actually making up the strategy, how it executes. And those people, they're the closest to Steph anyway. All right. So all those people that you can't call Steph, stop taking credit for it. If he not on your phone and you can't call him and text him, you ain't who you say you are.
Facts.
Especially if he actually will respond. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a little, you know what I'm saying? But that's exactly what's going on. You know what I mean? So back to where we at, you know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna just try to land this conversation.
Because this is only part one, obviously.
Because
This may be a
we on
four
Steph
part
Watch
series.
too. So we got to keep talking about this throughout the year. Get to the launch of the 13. All right. And then, you know, at the same time, what does Steph got going on? He has the GOAT movie coming out, animated movie coming out. maybe the same time as the shoes at All-Star Weekend. You heard, you know, we give you the juice, you know what I'm saying, of what's going on.
You say the Easter egg.
Just a little something, something. You know what I mean? So, just remember where you heard it from. And on top of that, now I gotta be in LA for All-Star Weekend. All right, so I can document everything for our audience. But you know, I'm so excited for the Steph watch. You know what I mean? We might as well, you know, take this one from me for free, Under Armour. Just make a social media account just for the sneaker free agency. Go ahead, do it. I'll go follow. Like it's that serious that we can do a whole Steph watch or whatever you want to call it, and then you can make a whole thing about that. You know what I mean? Give people access to tell them what shoes they want to see them in. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Because I am very interested because I haven't had this conversation behind the scenes, but I'm interested to see like who's giving him all the shoes and who is he when I already saw a reaction from Shaq where Shaq was like, I think his people called my people and then that's how it happened, but I know that we trying to talk about some bigger stuff, you know what I mean? But like I'm just happy that, you know, his people reached out to my people, so I'm just like, I have confidence in your people and I know they're resourceful, so you know, there might be some sourcing going on, but with these other brands and everything like that. But like, I'm excited. Like we brought up the Kobe Bryant, you know, to just this generation get to see a top tier player actually go through the business cycle and take his time. Like Kobe could have just signed deals with Nike and all this other stuff after he was crossing over with Adidas, but he took his time. He rocked the shoes. Now we wouldn't even have the AI Laker colors and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And him watching Kobe wear Jordans while playing Michael Jordan. Wow. You know, that was passing the torch if I've ever seen something. You know what I'm saying? So like little stuff like that, that now this generation gets to see this, and then like get their own version of joy out of it. Like, and then they'll say, I remember Steph, you were there for what, 13 years, however long it was? Yeah, it's about to be on the number 13 shoe. And now you can say, now it's going to be like on some, remember the Kobe Adidas? Remember the commercials for the, yeah, all of that. Now Steph gets to be in that category. You have just even added so many more layers to your legacy that makes you like well-rounded. You know what I'm saying? And then we get to see a little more personality. Like I like, this is like, you know, Steph in, you know, latter part of career looked like Kobe, where the personality comes out, you know, and we can see the difference between the competitor and you and all this and all the image and stuff like that. But it's just
Dare I
like,
say, Martin,
we're seeing you.
this is going to be the most heelish we're going to see Steph Curry. This is heel Steph Curry right now. And it's still like when John Cena made his heel turn, you're still cheering for him, although you're supposed to boo. You know what you're supposed to do. Cheer the good guys, boo the bad guys. But with him, it's like, this is the biggest heel turn, but it's a good heel turn, so you're still cheering. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
crazy. So to wrestling fans, y'all know what I mean. It's just one of the moments.
Yeah, and we haven't done wrestling references in such a long time, but that's part of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know if I go John Cena. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't even say The Rock in the final boss. You know what I'm saying? But like, I would go. We might do some Hollywood Hogan stuff. Well, Hollywood Hogan was more dramatic too. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to think. You know, it's still Wolfpack vibes to me. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Where you know that heel turn. Like a couple of the characters are faster than the other ones. You know what I'm saying? But then it's just like, ha ha. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm I'm a heel, but I'm not a villain. You know what I mean? Because of like when The Rock did the final boss, the fact that people were equally cheering and booing at the same time, which
that's true.
meant the whole arena is locked on
Engaged.
you.
Mhm.
That's what I'm talking about. This ain't LeBron Heatles, you know, and all the other stuff, and you the villain. No, 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 no. No, you told yourself that you was the villain. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's, you know, I'm coming. Yeah, I got my Curry 7 series on the court. You know what I mean?
The
Which
lightest
again,
basketball shoe out, may we say. And also
light,
that shoe was inspired
responsive. You
by
still got the flow,
mhm,
grippy on the bottom. So he's still giving you 50 pieces. All right, back to back. Talking to you, Spurs. 40 pieces, 40, 50 pieces. All right. Right. In this particular shoe. So you're gonna see this, all year long. Leading up to the 13 in February. So just wanted to show that off. We good love a good little.
The lightest basketball shoe with that functionality in the world right now. It was inspired by running shoes, and it's a basketball shoe. So, given his cuts, how he shoots, how he has to dodge, how he does when it comes to the pick and roll, as far as how his movement off the ball, you pick that shoe up, it's like it's a cloud in your hand. Forget Nike Prestos, forget the lightest shoe you ever. Put that shoe on and feel how light it is and see how functional it is and how it just responds. That's an incredibly functional performance shoe for a guard. No question.
You see what I'm doing here, OG? The heel.
Yep.
All right. And then now we got there's just gonna be more storytelling on the court, right? But we know he's rocking these on the court. But look how much attention you got for all the off the court stuff.
There
All
you
right.
go.
So this is one of the first time that we're going to be locked in for Steph Curry for off the court. Like this dude doesn't do wrong. We talk more about his wife throwing him on the bus on podcasts than anything else, as far as like some thing you could talk about besides basketball. You know what I
There
mean?
you
So
go.
like now we get to talk about more of the Curry business, and what it's going to translate. And I've already seen some rumors that he's already signed with, on social media that he signed with Jordan and da da da. And I'm like, no, like it's official that he's gone and the contract is over and they're not renewing it. But anybody, everybody, I want to see every brand. I want to see everything, So brands, y'all better be sending him care packages
There you go.
right now. Don't wait for him for his people to reach out to you. What's the address? All right,
Understood.
I want to see the any brand, all the independents, because we've covered so many independent brands. Side Collective, send them, with our boy AC, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, yo,
QZ,
yo,
we're like, come on, send them,
yo.
you know what I'm
AC and
saying?
him hook up. It's a wrap.
That's what I'm saying.
Internationally, it's a wrap.
Even if we might have some uh Korean, Chinese, Japanese brands or something like that. Everybody, Li Ning, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Anta, I'm sure he's gonna explore all options and take his time. But like
Understood.
some of you indies right out there, like, ooh, I would love to see that. Or this is the final where I wanted to end on this to bring it back to the Mamba. Do we remember? Does our audience know what his plans were when Kobe was in this similar situation at the end of his Nike contract? Now, he was passed away and his wife had to negotiate it. That's why we weren't getting Kobe's for a while. But what was Kobe's original plan? To have his own Mamba footwear. And
Period.
he was gonna produce it. It was develop it from scratch, you know what I mean? And then have ownership at the highest level. All right. Jaylen Brown, send him. You know what I'm saying? So but he was gonna do something like that, but with his Mamba imprint. All right. So maybe Steph does that too. Where it's just from scratch on his own. That makes it harder, but it makes it you know, more tangible, and you have control of your longevity. You know what I'm
Period.
saying? Thereafter, and then you get to take your people with you. And really keep your team together. That's behind the scenes that really makes things so great, in spite of what other staff members and leaders and things may be doing over at the Under Armour side of the house, because they want their piece of the pie. They want to say, I was there. I'm a part of it, even if you really didn't do anything. So any final words from the OG as we land the plane on this episode? Because we went all the way around the world and back again.
They say that mockery is the best form of flattery, and I would like to not just mock, but quote someone who I respect in this podosphere is what I call it. If you love them, if you like them, or if you love them. If you hate them, or if you despise them. Steph Curry has put on a masterclass on how to go about this shoe thing. We have inside information that T-Mark the Street Smart has shared to let you know that this thing should have been ugly. I'm talking about ugly from the beginning of this year. And
Oogle.
we heard nothing. Nothing was leaked. So it's such a huge surprise that this is going on. This has been bubbling for a while because Under Armour has been doing what they have been doing for a while. So just watch this masterclass because we are just in the first couple of sessions. We got a whole semester to go, brothers and sisters. And this Curry watch is real. And this is just the beginning. So 2025 ending fourth quarter, going into 26. Watch this masterclass and watch the chef at work. Mic drop.
There you go. Under Armour. Night night. You did it to yourself. All right. You brought this on yourself.
Still wet behind the ears. Breath smelling like Similac.
All that. You know what I'm saying? So you reap what you sow. All right. And you can't recreate these moments. You can't recreate the athletes. You can't buy them off. Okay. You can't just because you can give young kids shoes and hopefully one of them grows up and wants to keep the shoes. You know, you don't even do the grassroots like you used to. Not for basketball. Right. So, and the best grassroots was through who? Curry camp.
No question.
Nobody talk about Elite 24 anymore. Everyone wants to be at the Curry camp. All the alumni that are in the league right now, because Mr. Curry is handpicking people, men and women. AZ Fudd, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
National champion. Curry brand, NIL. So, you know, I feel for the athletes, either the NIL or De'Aaron Fox. We got a couple other new additions over the last year as well. But I just mentioned De'Aaron Fox because he has a signature with Curry brand. So I'm just interested to see how the entire brand transitions into the next phase. Not just with Steph. He's on the latter part of his career, but you have athletes who are still going to keep going and carrying on the brand. De'Aaron Fox with his own signature. You only had number 2. You know what I'm saying? Like it just started. So it's a brand refresh. I'm excited. We've sparked up nostalgia, just like we like over here at the Soul Material Podcast. That's why we're the podcast you cheer for. And we want to make sure that we continue to give you that clarity over popularity. So we just started off season 6 with a bang. Curry for 3.
We did that.
All right. So there you go. Signing off for this episode of Sneaker Free Agency. To be continued is T-Mark the Street Shark.
And your man, the OGEO. Until next time, peace to you.
Sneaker business talk. It's the Soul Material Podcast.